Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are checking out the King Air C90. Now this has been on the marketplace for quite a while and I just decided to pick it up today, testing out some new aircraft. I'm going to be seeing a couple of reviews this week and this one's going to be on it. So sit tight guys and enjoy the flight because hopefully this is going to be a fun little plane. If you are interested in learning how to fly the TBM 930 from Microsoft Flight Simulator, consider joining my Patreon site, level tier 2 or above, which gives you access to all of my guides, which include the A320, the G1000, and now the recently released Cessna Citation Longitude. These guides include everything from cockpit tours to full instructions on how to use all the systems, creating your flight plans, as well as the different types of approaches and takeoffs that are available to the different aircrafts. They are extremely detailed, full with pictures and identifying markers to make your flight sim experience with this aircraft as easy as possible. Again, link down to my Patreon site found in the description below. So stepping right into the review, obviously the exterior textures look absolutely fantastic. I have no issues with the exterior textures whatsoever. There's a couple of pixelizations in some of the lettering and things like that, but that could just be the livery. But again, nothing that you're going to really notice unless you are truly sticking your face down into it, in which case, by all means, I'm sure you're going to find some things. So let's go ahead and jump into the cockpit. The cockpit looks very, very nice, but now something that you want to be aware of. When I first launched into this aircraft, into the cockpit textures looked atrocious, just absolutely blown away. And by the way, the default for whatever reason is to have the yolks hidden. I'm not sure what that's about. They started like that for me. I'm not sure what happened there. But go to escape, go to your general options, guys. And the first thing I want you to do is whatever your graphic settings are, change it to something else, hit save and apply, and then change it back. And then when I did that, the cockpit looked as you see it now. But before, it was super glary. Everything was just really high-toned, a lot of reflections in really odd places, a lot of weird things going on. And then once I reset my graphics, everything looks as it is now. Now, as far as the graphics and internal textures go, for the most part, I like it. It looks really well. The throttle quadrant, I think, looks great. A lot of the buttons and switches, from what I can tell, look very, very nice. My biggest issue would be the autopilot panel. Some of these buttons, you can't really tell they're buttons, but I mean, you guys hopefully understand what I'm saying. It's almost like there's just a little too much white, but some of that could be just the lighting from outside as well. So adjusting the lighting may change some of those features. Now, getting into my biggest gripe of this aircraft right off the bat, and there's been a few aircraft like this, and it definitely seems to be an issue with the marketplace aircraft, and well, even a lot of third-party aircraft, but my biggest complaint is the checklists. I don't understand why we get these generic junky checklists in a flight simulator. The whole point is to simulate the real aircraft. I mean, this is it. This is our checklist. I mean, that's terrible. Absolutely terrible. I looked through the installation directory to see if there was anything different in there, maybe a PDF or something. Absolutely nothing. I looked online, and the only checklist that I could really find was for the C90 for X-Plane. Now, I will do my best at a later time to dive through it and see if I can come up with an accurate checklist, because even that one was missing quite a lot. Didn't even have to flip the battery switch on in that checklist. So the checklist, unfortunately, leaves something definitely to be desired. However, the textures and everything like that seem like it's pretty awesome. We're going to see what the aircraft flies like. We're going to take a quick flight from Phoenix over to Tucson. Again, real short skip. I'm not sure what's happening out there. Is that part of the window, or I think that's damage to the window. I can't tell. We'll find out later. So, long story short, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a auto start. So, hitting Control E on the keyboard.
Engaging autopilot.
I feel like the avionics master should also be on, given the fact that you can't see your engine readout without it turned on, so that would have to be a requirement. Conditions go to full, prop goes to full. There are flap settings, cut off, there's throttles, reverse prop, aileron trim, rudder trim, And then the FMC. We're going to try to play around with the FMC a little bit. Just see its functionality. Won't necessarily depend on it. Wants pitot heat on. Where's pitot heat? I don't know why we're only getting one wheel indicator on the... Let's see, need the beacon light on, recog light should be on, nav light should be on. There's the pitot left and right, although it still says it's off, which is interesting. Definitely feel like we're missing some things here. Okay. Oh, that was the gen on. All right. Standby should be on as well. Auto ignition should be armed, I believe. Engine anti-ice. Very interesting. What I'm doing here is just looking to see if there's any controls that would make sense to me that need to be on. Again, based on the lack of... Let's clear the caution. Based on the limited knowledge I have of this aircraft. I really don't know anything about it. That's kind of why I wanted to get it. I was hoping this was going to be a bit better. Like I say, without the checklist, it's just... Guys, it's developers, it's critical. This is a simulator. Let's check our barometric pressure, 2984, tapping on the B key there. Alright, so we got the engine started. Let's see what it sounds like. Seems like we're in high idle. There we go, that sounds quieter. Okay. Alright, so now what we'll try to do is peek around at the FMC for a second, see what we get there. Oops, wrong way. Ah! Where did I put it? There it is. Made some custom views before we got started here. It's always the first thing I do when I get into an aircraft. Okay, so we have our initialization page first. Oh, that looks good. Position initialization. We need to set the GPS. Should be able to just copy that down. Go to the flight plan, and we are at KPHX. I haven't used one of these FMCs in a while, and we're going to, it's very similar to the Boeing, KTUS. From here we should be able to go departures and arrivals, and let's see if we can find one. The Storm one, that will definitely work. I guess, no. We do not want the TUS transition. According to ADIS, runway 26 is going to be our best bet today. And we can execute the departure. We don't want legs yet. We want flight plan. And we want next page. Yep, okay. And we're going to be going direct to baser. And then Dingo? Now, we should be able to set that on the arrivals. Just execute there. Let's go to departures and arrivals. Click that again. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Yep. Dingo 5. That'll bring us in nice. Should be able to use the GBN transition. Approach will be coming in on the ILS 11 left. It says working. I'm just waiting for that to go away. Does that go away? Okay. Alright. Yep, transition dingo. That's good. Alright, let's trigger that. Maybe I didn't need... Let's leave that. There's no transition. Going straight to dingo, then onto the ILS. Well, no, because we want the GBN. Alright, I'm going to leave the GBN in. The Gila bend. Because that would make perfect sense for an approach onto 11 left. I haven't put the flight plan into SimBrief. I wasn't necessarily initially planning on doing that, so forgive me. Performance, let's go take a look here. Cruise altitude, let's go to 19,000 feet. Passengers, weight, I'm not going to worry about that. We're just going to leave it. Let's see here. We should be able to do 3, I think. Cargo, I don't know. Let's say 600 pounds of cargo. Alright, I think we're good there. Takeoff. We're on runway 26. Winds are 250 at 7, I think. Let me check ATIS. I was messing around with this a minute ago in a previous plane out here. Let's see if it's still the same. Okay, runway's the same. 299 at 7 knots. I knew it was something around there. Clear. 299 for 7. Outside air temperature, I believe, was 13 degrees Celsius. Slope, I'm not going to worry about. Takeoff, VNAV setup, advisory, VNAV enable, fuel management. Cool. Performance menu. Alright, I think we're good to go. Let's just see what happens here. So we're going to come up top. And we want our taxi light on. And hopefully everything goes well. It's set to the FMS by default, it looks like. I'm looking to see if we wanted to change that, how we would. Nav? Yep. Alright, so it's VOR1, FMS, PFD menu. Nope, that's just the barrel, which actually doesn't do anything here. That still changes that. Oh, there you go. Okay. Alright, we'll leave all that as is, but looks like we got some options there. Let's close the PFD menu. Still don't know why the pitot heat's doing what it's doing, but is what it is. Maybe it's altitude sensitive. Maybe it turns off at a certain point. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Alright, so let's get the aircraft out of here. So I'm going to go parking brake. And we want to go out to the left here. Alright, is my throttle moving? It is. Wow, this is pretty disappointing. That's not a good start, guys. I can't get the aircraft. I mean, so I'm supposedly at idle. And I'm willing to bet this thing is going to bring the airspeed indicator alive. There's 40. I'm just saying how fast she's going to go with these throttles, quote unquote, at idle. I know this is completely unrealistic. 50. Alright, I had to pull the prop pitch back. That's ridiculous. And I think this thing's like 25 bucks on the marketplace. That's not good. That's absolutely not okay. Not okay at all. I'm watching the engine RPMs here, or the percent. Now it seems to be coming back down. But it wouldn't come down until I pulled the prop pitch back. So now again, hands are off the controls. And this is a much more effective taxi. So I'm really kind of wondering what happened that she continued to accelerate like that. Let's set flaps 1 for takeoff. Let's turn the landing lights on. Yeah, she's taxiing fine now. Oh, turned a little too late. So maybe that was a hiccup? Some sort of bug there? But now she seems okay. Although it still sounds like she's idling really high. The RPM say one thing, but the audio says another. So definitely not crazy about the audio. All of a sudden now the gear indicators are working right. Alright, here we go. So I'm powering up. I can't see what that error says. Oh, it went away. 70 knots. There's 90 coming up. Whoa, baby. I think it's a torque.
Gear. Landing gear.
That's what that is. Torque warning.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Flaps up.
Landing gear. 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 Landing gear.
Are we really?
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Alright, well, looks like it finally stopped. Okay, so the landing gear annunciator seemed like that was much longer than it should have been. Now, as far as how it's flying, it's flying well. I would say very simple, though. Seems to be definitely not what I'd call a detailed flight model. But, I mean, at the same token, we are getting some turbulence. She is rocking and rolling a little bit. Flight directors don't seem to do anything. See what happens as we get oop. Let's get the autopilot engaged. Okay, there they go. And let's get our altitude set. 19,000. Although with nav mode on, we are still turning the other direction. It's climbing. Unless the rose is pointing the wrong direction, though. Now, that would make sense based on our bearing needle here. But then, what's the point of our FMS here? Very curious to see what happens as it turns around. Now, it's probably going to try to intercept the course line, so we'll see. But according to the bearing needle, that's correct for our next waypoint. Oh, even then, that wouldn't make sense, because it says direct to 239. Nope, I think it's just going to keep turning. This is what I think is going to happen. Wow. Yeah, it's just going to keep making circles is what it's doing. I'm going to give it a minute because we are getting closer to the course line, and maybe it's just picking a really weird way to do this. I don't know yet. And the flight plan's clearly in the FMS. It's just not following it. What happens if we go to heading mode? Nope. So the autopilot doesn't function. Okay, guys. So I was hoping to do a full flight with this, but clearly that's not happening today. Unless we were missing something. But again, if we're missing something, then that's where our issue with the lack of documentation comes from. So unfortunately, I am giving this aircraft a very big thumbs down, and for lack of either functionality or lack of documentation. I'm not going to continue this flight. There's no point. But unfortunately, I do hope that I save you guys some money. You guys let me know what you guys think. If I'm doing something wrong, by all means, I'll give them the shot. But again, if you're going to sell an aircraft, you got to tell people how to use it. And that's clearly not something that's happening here, and I don't know why. I would have liked to. I was definitely looking forward to checking this one out, but apparently it's just not in the books today. Let's see here. Can we couple? No. Alright, guys. So I hope you guys all have a great day, and as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.